There are a lot of films, by the way, you can catch later this week at the KC Film Fest.
Yeah, films that you can't see at any other theaters besides Cinemark on the Plaza. Movie Mitch got a chance to screen 3 of the films, and he's here to tell us what we can expect. What I love about the film festival is not only can you see films that are not out in theaters right now, but you get to meet the filmmakers many times. So what's the first film you're going to talk about?
So the first film that I'm going to talk about is Prodigy. And I did an interview with the filmmaker, and he describes it as sort of like the little girl at the center of the film is kind of like the child version of Hannibal Lecter. Her intellect is through the roof. The story is about a psychologist that is called in to work with this little girl. That is Savannah Lyles. She is a fantastic actress. And it's a little thriller slash sci-fi. They did use a lot of practical effects, which really makes a difference in this movie. And the one interesting thing is it was originally supposed to be a little boy, but after auditions, they couldn't find the right kid, so they opened it up to girls. And that's when they found Savannah, and she really does make the movie.
She seems to be very creepy in this trailer here.
I thought it was a horror movie at first, but it's not. It's more of definitely a thriller with a little bit of sci-fi thrown in.
Well, after this movie, that kid's never getting sent to detention. There's no teacher anywhere that will say, you're in detention. What's the second one you took a look at?
Okay, so the second one is a short documentary. So that means it's only about 30 minutes long, and it is called Out Here in Kansas. And it actually looks at kind of the rocky relationship between the Christian community and the LGBT community in Kansas. And the filmmaker is a longtime journalist, and he's a journalist in Andover, and it kind of centers around this pastor. And this pastor is the pastor that kind of helped make gay marriage illegal in Kansas, and one of the members of his congregation who, back in the 90s, came out as gay, and he was an All-American football player from Winfield. So it's interesting because it kind of looks back at both their lives, but also the fact that there's a debate between the two of them. He has the two of them sit down and have a conversation about it. And I will say, I asked Adam, the filmmaker, I said, okay, so what did the pastor think of this? Because he showed it to him, and he said he thought it was fair.
Interesting. Yeah. Showing both sides.
Showing both
of these
sides.
two individuals on different sides of the issue.
And they had a real conversation.
They had a real conversation, and it's not just a 30-second snippet.
Did it change any minds?
I don't think it necessarily changed his mind, but it gave him an idea of the perspective from the others, both sides.
So
it's very interesting.
Film is a powerful medium.
Yeah, and there's a twist at the end involving one of Adam's relatives. So that's something to look forward to.
And then your third film.
So the last film I took a look at was The Scent of Rain and Lightning, and this is a drama co-written by local writer Casey Twinter, and Michelle, you're actually moderating the Q&A after this film when it airs, when it premieres on Friday. It's a drama. Bonnie Bedelia, you might recognize her. She plays the grandmother. It centers around this girl whose parents were murdered when she was very young, and the man who was convicted of the crime is released from prison. And there's a lot of talk about whether he did it or not. And so it's from the girl's perspective, and she tries to figure out, with all the family secrets out there, if that is what actually happened. It's very powerful. The acting is fantastic. Maggie Grace plays the mother. You might remember her from Lost. She's been in several other things. So it's very interesting when you see these films where you have some actors that you know mixed in with these other actors, and the actors that you might not know of, they are just as good as these actors that you've seen for years. And I love that about films that we're going to see this week.
So many amazing films. And you'll be out there doing some Q&A as well?
Yeah, Q&A. I'll be doing the Q&A for Prodigy on Friday night, and then the Dog Film Festival, and then another.
Fun.
I know.
Lots of good stuff going on this weekend.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and tickets are still available for many of these films at kansascityfilmfest.org. We'll have a link at kclive.tv later on today. We appreciate you stopping by.